back on the balcony. It actually just finished raining, and rain here is like sun showery, like there are clouds, but it's already sunny again. And it feels so good out here. Where I'm at is literally like the Dust Bowl in the middle of the desert of America, and just breathing in that dust caused a sinus infection that escalated into, the stomach issues I've been contending with for the last 2.5 months. So I've just been sending out my little prayers to the divine. Mama and Baba, can you help me out? We need some rain. And it has been raining, so I'm not gonna say that I'm some kind of rain witch or anything, but I am gonna say I asked nicely. Thank you so much for delivering on it, because it is so dry out here and my skin has been so angry. But so thank you. So thank you. I hope you guys are doing good. Let's get into it. Oh my goodness, yeah. I needed to be out here after this rain. It's just so... I love it. Spheres of Heaven, Tarot. I don't know about you, but I actually have had the most bizarre day. Yesterday was a portal day, and I was just really into it. I was really happy, felt really good about things. Like, even when things were just kind of like meh, it was still just like good meh. And just balls dropping things. So I haven't felt, shoot. I'll go ahead and keep that because I saw it. Whatnot. Actually, I think that's it. I think that's it. First of all, they all just really fell out. Yeah. They all just really fell out. My deck. Oh my word. Oh my word. There it is. Okay. Wait. Oh my gosh. I love this. It's all... Something happened and now it's all tangled up. Yeah, that one actually... Okay, so... That's weird. Where the fuck is the back of the... There we go. Wow, this got all... kaboobled. Can we make kaboobled a word? If it's not already. No incense, just rain air. So... I think that's it. Y'all really made me work for it, though. What the hell? I love it because, like, you have... I don't know if you know this, but, when you're playing around with cards, it's advised to form a relationship with, every individual deck that you have. Because it's a relationship. It's not just pieces of paper, with cool things on them. Like, these are a part of you. You are a part of it. It's a collaboration tool, and so, kind of like how some people can, like, it reminds me of Formula One, which, like, I just watched the movie, and that's enough out of you guys. That's it. I just watched the Formula One movie the other day. And it kind of, this process is similar to that. If you don't know anything about Formula One, don't worry. I don't know much about Formula One. It's like, I know as much as the Netflix drama series does. It kind of is like oh my gosh, blanking the fuck out. It's a reality show. Jesus Christ. Drive to Survive is a reality show. And that's how I know about Formula One racing. If you don't know anything about it, that's okay. I only know as much as I can. But one thing that they stress a lot in Formula One is, you know, within the competitiveness comes the collaborative efforts. And so, you know, these drivers have to know their car. Like, these Formula One drivers get paid so much because these dudes off track are simulating driving the car on a racetrack that they've driven so many times before, and their literal muscle memory is what they're trying to like dedicate time and effort to. And it's their car, you know, it's fit to their specs. This is what they want. This is how they drive best, and you know, and they have a relationship with, you know, that kind of thing, you know, with the road, with the track, with the car. It's all kind of a relationship, and I kind of like to think of myself as trying to form different relationships with my own deck, and it is advised to just, you know, get to know the relationship, you know, what the deck's energy comes with automatically, and then how you relate to that when you're doing divination. So, all that to say, holy shit, a lot of things fell out or called out, so I'm very interested in seeing about that. I'm going to start with your major arcana. You have some pretty cool heavy hitters in this one. The first one that I saw, actually, or the first groupings that I saw were these three, and then the Temperance card kind of yelled at me as well. You have the Empress. You have the Hermit. You have the Lovers, and Thruple. This is a polyamorous one. Hell yeah. I think that's cool. Hell yeah. I've been speaking to a lot of, like, you know, indigenous people, or people who identify with that, and I've been talking to a lot of people who work with deities, and I do find myself sometimes communicating with other polyamorous people, so that's really cool. Yeah, it's giving thruple energy, which, like, samesies. Thruples are interesting and fun. And then Temperance is the last one. So, as you know, we read. We read in this bitch. And again, I like to read it because I am forming my relationships with my deck. I don't want to, like, not learn everything that I can. And it takes some time for me. But I also like to read it because I like to make sure that you know what kind of relationship you could have with this deck too. So it's like, yes, it's tarot, but this is not just a tarot deck. It has its own vibe. So, yeah. I don't know why I feel like I have to explain that to you. I think I'm just really insecure of the way I do things. Because people, I know how goddamn critical the world is, and it's just so much more peaceful when I don't do things because no one's critiquing it. But honestly, like, I can't care about that shit. This is me and the divines thing. So maybe that's something you need to hear. Like, whatever you're doing to connect with your divine space within yourself, externally, interpersonally, ecumenically, it doesn't matter that people will criticize. They have a right to waste oxygen on saying stupid shit, you know, and being so opinionated. They don't know the connection that you have with the divine, so don't let their projection of their lack reflect out of you. You know, don't take that on. That's their shit, not yours. So I have to do a lot of reminding of myself when I read these, because I know what people say. The Empress is strength through passion. Brimming with passion, the Empress is an ambiguous figure with numerous forms and manifestations across the tarot traditions. For some, she is soft and boundless, ripe with child, sitting in a lush landscape filled with unstoppable growth. For others, she is a ruler who shares many aspects with the Emperor, each one side of the same coin. Her feminine energy to his masculine. In Dioscorian tradition, this femininity is expressed as a determination to protect and lead her homeland, making it prosperous and powerful. This regal aspect is demonstrated by her male eagle, erect pose, and the strong vertical lines of her dress. And the wheat stalks behind her, they also stand for the prosperity she ensures for the people. She has a stern exterior, a wise intellect, a connection to the divine, and radiates an imposing physical presence. She stands in juxtaposition to the high priestess, since she is hard and intellectual on the outside, with a soft core. As you know, this isn't gender specific. Right off cuff, you're the Empress. This is your Empress energy here. Ripe with ideas. And that tracks. I think, like, we got through a long period of resting this winter and spring, and now it's July, and it just feels like the world is brimming with creative activity again. And it's really, or just like a lot of people saying, like, time to get creative. Like, I got told like 2 or 3 times today, it's time to get creative. And I'm like, all right, I heard you. So right off cuff, Empress is used. That you. And Empress is an energy, not a gender. Or it could be both. But Empress energy here is your energy, you know? Look at that. Energy. You can look however you need to, but that you. The second one, like I said, is the Hermit. Bookmark that, because that is the other one I want. Convenient. Turned it to the page I really needed. Alright. The Hermit says the journey within. It says the Hermit is an isolated figure in the dark of night, an aged man at the edge of the world, gazing down with a troubled expression. The life he once lived is over. The path before him is new, dangerous. The end, but also the beginning. In his right hand, he holds a lantern that sheds light on the wisdom of the past, but is also a beacon in the hope that a higher order might notice him and perhaps even carry him forward. Felt. It glows with the light of brilliant intellect. Later, this light will become the brilliant hope of the star card, but for now the Hermit bundles his hopes close to his chest. The pains of his life have formed a cloak around him. The past itself has coalesced into his rounded, hunched back. In his left hand, he holds a staff, a connection to practical, earthbound wisdom, as well as his route into eternity. Above him hovers the letter Yod. Yes, I was wondering about that. There's always letters, Hebrew letters on here. That dude, the one that looks like the moon, has Yod. And that is indicating that this person might have touched the divine. We've read these cards before, but I like to read them to you. This is also you. So, your divine feminine energy is Empress. Your divine masculine energy is Hermit, which makes sense. That makes sense. The Lover's card was next. Like I said, throuple energy or polyamory or dating scene also could also still be whatever relationship setting you desire or you're in and content with. Whichever works for you, but I'm sensing like something other than that. Highway. The Lover says blissful harmony. Although known as the Lover in the Marseille tradition, where a group is depicted surrounding a single titular lover, this card is usually interpreted instead as 2 heteronormative lovers coming together, male and female, the universe's dualistic principles in harmony. The 3 versions included in this deck, which there's 3 versions. They're beautiful. 1444 They're beautiful, they're very clear. If I remember, I will try to sift through the deck and show them to you, because there's 3 different lovers cards in this deck, and they represent the diaspora of what love is everywhere. So it says here, 3 versions included in this deck reflect Dioscoria's free and open attitude toward love. A society formed from those rejected by convention, Dioscorians expressed their love and gender in uncountable ways. This was quickly picked up on by card painters. By the 16th century, it was traditional for this card to depict the buyer and their lovers. This personal touch was also a way for card painters to show their skill. Regardless of the genders or number of partners depicted, all interpretations of the card depict a union that is emotional in nature, but encompasses the entire spectrum of love: body, mind, and soul. Oh, so this is 2 different. I was wondering, okay, it also felt like something else in that tracks. It's polyamory or open relationship, but it's also you integrating yourself, like you bringing yourself together. Like, there's also a group of you that it's just like, I need to get myself, like, so you're in love with you. I like that. Aw, I like that. This union is brought about by a higher power and represents total fulfillment. So that, a nod to this, you touch the divine. You touching the divine put you in a situation where you believe in love, this connected, this, sorry, my blood sugar seems to be low, this integrated, this beautiful, and yeah, fuck yeah. This deck represents this harmony in the form of a white sun casting its joy from above. But this power can take many forms, including an angel or a being working with or through one. This could be Raphael, archangel of air, associated with Mercury and therefore a messenger. For some, the white sun might also evoke the fool. After all, this figure, also associated with the color white, may be ignorant or innocent, but this is precisely why they are capable of unconditional love. Since they lack any unhelpful preconceptions, there is nothing to hinder them from union with the other. Others capitalized. And I like that. Again, you loving you. You're loving the part of you that is a fertile leader and a very quiet, studied practitioner. Ugh, confirmation sneeze. Because, yeah, there was something already in these cards I've already forgotten. But in one of these cards it already talked about connecting, yourself between the 2 realms of spiritual and physical. And this is talking about that. There's nothing to hinder them from union with the other being your Empress and your Hermit energy. Anyways, I could go off of that. That's fun. But the last one of your major arcana is Temperance. Alright, Temperance, the benefit of restraint. Temperance is one of the 4 virtues. The ability to balance ourselves and respond to every slight in a measured way. Temperance allows us to reconcile negative forces with each other, inner and outer perception, caution and confidence, fiery intellect and physicality, and reach a middle ground from which you can act healthily and decisively. Temperance is the key to worldly clarity. The balance it brings allows you to see the world with new, unbiased eyes and step seamlessly into the world's flow. It is also the avoidance of suffering and can manifest as a via negativa, improving something, one's life, perhaps, by subtracting things rather than adding. Temperance naturally leads us to seek the avoidance of negative things and excess. For everything, there is a time. We must simply wait and calmly act when the time is right. Scholars have suggested this card demonstrates a Taoist influence from nearby China on Dioscurian culture, citing the yin and yang, gold and black orbs in the background. This card certainly conveys some of Lao Tzu's warnings from the Tao Te Ching. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. So this is for you. I feel like I don't want to be a dick, so I'm just gonna move on to the minor arcana, and if I'm right, I might just have to be a dick. We'll see. Cups, pentacles. Okay, let's get into it. Let's see where we start. Wands. Okay, so you have 4 minor arcana and 4 major arcana. So 8 might be a number that you... 8? You like 8? Well, it's the 8th, so hell yeah, good for you. Anyway, so 6 of Wands. Shut the hell up, X. This is you. And it says here, accomplishment. After the struggles of conflicting creative energies and combative passions, the 6 of Wands is a moment of triumph. The triangle of creative stems has been ordered. The tangle, Jesus. The tangle of creative stems has been ordered, and an illuminated blossom standing for a work of passion is now cradled near the bottom of the card. Yeah, I see that. Out of all this struggle, something has been created and stands up proud. Nonetheless, this brings its own risk, that we might rest on our laurels, preferring to dwell on this accomplishment rather than pursuing further creative paths. You're supposed to be doing creative shit, bro? Good for you. Me too, actually. I gotta be doing creative shit. Yeah, like now that the heat of the summer is happening, like there's just a lot of like, okay, like get back to it. It's time to do the things, you've been chilling. It's time to hop back in here. And I'm like, I guess. So yeah, time for you to do some creativity of some sort. Which, good for you. Drink break. Yeah, and you went through some shit, it seems. Probably why you're in your hermit mode to begin with. Okay, cups. You have a 9 of cups. Moving on. Yeah, okay, you went through some shit. Did you go through some shit? I'm gonna read it. I think you went through some shit though. Love cannot last in a static form. Yeah, it either transforms and grows anew or perishes in one form or another. This is the nature of life, of all energy in the universe, and it is the lesson of the 9 cups. While the fountain-like edifice on this card is magnificent, it's also strangely ephemeral. Eventually, we have to move on. If we don't stand up and leave this tranquil fountain of our own volition, something or someone will force us. This is a tale of caution, but also hope. Life is motion, and love is life in motion. If the flow is maintained, there will be countless more fountains. We need not cling to this one. You gotta put your past and your behind, I'm hearing. Okay. And then you have 2 pentacles that came out. The first one is the 4 of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is the paradox of material wealth. Arranged in a sturdy pillar, the four coins symbolize security in the material world. This, combined with the pentacle suit, means this card stands for financial or material stability. However, this is an illusionary stability. Nothing is truly permanent in our entropic world. If we were to hold still, comfortably remaining below this pillar's stable shelter, we would be disturbed by some other motion. Petrification, yeah, is another thing talking about getting a movement in there. Petrification, decay, or some external shock, perhaps. To rest here is to err. The Four of Pentacles can only be used wisely when it becomes a foundation to move forward from. Yeah. Someone was your lesson? Like, you wanted that bullshit so bad, and so then you got it, and you learned, and now it's time to move on. I'm not judging you. I'm really not. If that's what it is, I'm really not judging you. The last one is the Page of Pentacles. And it's not, I don't even think it's just romantic. Like, there's some romantic shit, but also, like, your job being bullshit, you know? Like, yeah, you sacrificed a lot. It's still time to go. Page of Pentacles, a promising opportunity. See, look at that. Already on the upswing. One of the greatest gifts held by this youth is the ability to grow, symbolized by the lamb. This page holds the world in their hand, and with it the possibility to acquire wealth and security. They have just stepped onto the scene of life, having left the innocent playgrounds of childhood. They are framed in the threshold to signify this is a transitional moment. The doorway itself is an arch of flowers to symbolize their potential for further growth. They are not in a hurry, still looking around curiously to see what the world might hold for them. But they have a talent to both give and receive. On top of everything, they have the luck that brought them this opportunity in the first place. Lots of stars in these cards, just stars all over. I don't know if I mentioned to you, one of my favorite things about this deck is that the Empress card has 12 stars around her head, and it's like it's basically like the 12 stars I correlate to the 12-star crown that the Bride of Christ is wearing. She has 12. So like this Empress feels more of a representation of the collective that, I guess, is ready to be back in the paradise narrative. Like, this is what an Empress is. This is what a collective consciousness of divinity looks like to me, is what I'm getting at. Lots of stars though. Stars, crown, the page got stars here, you know, around his head, you know, star card and a lantern. Surprisingly lacking in stars with these two. And then obviously anything Pentacles is gonna probably have some things. Stars here. I think the Page of Pentacles, I hope I've been saying Page of Pentacles because I've just been talking. I see that the Page of Pentacles is the part of you that needs to learn that these disappointments that you keep holding on to as evidence for your request for change to be made, like these things that you're doing, what you're holding on to, thinking that that's going to help you, it's time for you to do the most scary thing in the world to you, and that is to move on. And I know it's very comfortable to stay wherever it is you're staying, whether that be, you know, your job, or whether that be, you know, a relationship that you know damn well is literally like fucking you up, you know. And that's not just romantic. I'm talking about, you know, friendships, parents, you know, acquaintances, neighbors, whatever the hell it is. You know, I think that it's easy to do a thing that you already know. And it's a lot harder to fathom better or different in the state that you've been in. But I think that you know that the kind of love you have to have for yourself. Actually, you know what I'm really getting? Like, and this is the part of me that said, like, I don't want to be a dick, so I'll finish this, but, like, you know already. I know you know. And I know you know because you did the scary thing. You fell in love with yourself. You know how much more of that you need to do, and you know the more that you continue to pour into yourself, legitimize yourself, love yourself, care for yourself, insist upon yourself, the more you're doing that, the more icky these other situations are getting, and it's more, it's less tolerable, it's more intolerable. It's becoming unbearable, I guess. And I think that you know that when you take this next step in integration, when you become this very thing for yourself, you know that sorry excuse of a foundation that you started isn't gonna cut it, you know? It's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it, because this is you. This is you. Not that scarcity shit you're sitting on, because it's not scary. So I think, you know, to be honest with you, you're gonna be okay, and you know that. And I know that it feels like, you know, a big old whopping, what do I do now? And I know that, you know, you don't have the answers, but you also know that whatever goodness you imagine for yourself, you know that your divine connection with the beings you collaborate with, the energies, the ancestors that you collaborate, like, you know that those divine energies probably view that plan, no offense, as like a fucking Crayola crayon drawing on the wall. Like, no offense to the toddlers who be doing that artwork, but fam, like, that's what your big picture idea of abundance and, you know, your future, like, that's what it looks like in comparison to, like, what they've got planned for you. And so I think you and I both know that as scary and new and uncomfortable this will feel at first, it will feel uncomfortable. I think you and I both know that, like, that next step is going to put you in a position to enter into rooms, and both physical and spiritual, that you thought was just a funny thing to wish for. I'm gathering. Like, you're kind of talking to the divine, like, yeah, I'd love to, I don't know, be in the room with this person or that person, or be mentored by this, you know, renowned whatever. You're over here thinking, like, maybe when I'm old one day, you know, just a silly thought to have, because people don't really have that happen to them, and the divine is just like, oh, that's your retirement plan? No, babe, that's your 5-year plan. That's before 40, you know? That's before caught 'em all. That's how true it is, you know? Like, this is a 5-year plan, not a retirement plan. What you're about to achieve is so much bigger than you ever thought, and it does require some trust. There's movement going on over here so that you do not have to put effort into the things that you're supposed to be doing. Not to be lazy, but you have things you gotta do here, 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 here. And the divine is giving you time to get that done, because similarly to how everyone's like, okay, time to get creative, time to be active, it's summertime, it's July, there's a lot going on, blah, 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 time to do all these things. Like, in the spiritual sense, like, your physical reality is going to take that kind of a hit. And you're going to need to have that routine established again, where when you're active, it's time. And I think, like, for me, what I'm getting from this is that I've been really, just struggling with rest. And I have to rest. I have, this illness that I'm battling, And even in that, there is just so much work to be done. I'm getting distracted, actually. My sensory stuff gets me every time. I love being out here, but I never really know why people want to, like, drag race at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's just super weird to me. Can I have my thought back, please? I think all that I'm saying is what you believe is good for you is like the tip of the iceberg compared to what you actually deserve. And not just out of this life, but out of the next one. Like, all of your lives, you're very deserving in all of your lives, I'm hearing. Like, every iteration of your life, you've been very deserving of the divine presence that you are finally tapping into now. And it's in the type of deserving that we're talking about is, like, you don't even have to ask. But you will, because you're so beautiful. Which, like, aw, that beautiful. And so, it's gonna be hard. You are the Empress. You are that hermit. You are embodying that temperance. You are pacing yourself in a healthy way. But with this last hit that occurred in your life, you are also that Page of Pentacles, and you are going to be learning a lot. And classes in session. New relationships. I like this statement that I've heard, the universe doesn't like to leave a void unfilled, and so you will have something deserving of you replaced. Undeserving of you replaced. Whatever had to go and be purged, that void will be filled. And it does take a lot of trust. It does take you to know how to balance your energies, loving yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit. All of that has to happen. And yeah, there was some dead weight that needed to shed, which, like, sometimes I be feeling like every video or every other video, somebody's like had to do more pruning and culling and detaching and forgiving and letting go, and I'm just kind of like, it feels like a form of underworld job. like, oh, something had to get cut off, like, I just feel like one of those, like, nurses at a spiritual, like, amputee shop. I don't know, it's just you're cutting these things off. How are you doing? Like, and it's gonna be okay in the cell. You know what I mean? Like, these people are just so, it's just I don't live in a busy town, y'all. Like, if I told you where I lived, you would find this ridiculous, okay? Anyway, I've been distracted. by this, so I don't know where my thoughts are, but it does sound like you're being prepared for like two different things. Like, yes, you're being prepared for the abundance that comes with this season of our lives, of this collective consciousness, and you're gonna get ready to learn a lot more things, and it's time for you to be a student of the world and see where you fit into all of this, and graduate into your niche study subjects, so that when it's time and you'll know it, is what I'm gathering. But you're also being prepared to learn that when it's time to rest, it's time to rest. This grind thing that you're purging from you in every way is leading you into spaces where as you move and tessellate between all versions of yourself, you'll start to understand and pick up on the fact that those parts of you all deserve both action and rest. You all of those aspects of you are deserving. And so you know how to work. You now know how to work with love for yourself being the number one, or among the first priorities. And now you're gonna do that. Like, it's almost like okay, now that you know how to do this, because you got your hermit mode on and you got yourself, you have the Empress energy, you hunkered down into your hermit space to make sure that you got, to make sure that you know that when it's time to get into your studio and produce something, you know how to do that. I feel like this is a conversation about, like, you have seasons, you have an off season, I'm gathering. Like, yes, you do have your grind and you are the Empress, but you are also a learned student, and there are going to be, during those hermit phases, you are also going to have to be you are going to be in spaces where you're a novice. Thank you. Novice. You are both a teacher and a novice, which is normal. Totally normal. And yeah, like, if I'm thinking about it, right, like, and as I'm connecting with you like this, I really hope I wasn't too much of a dick, for real. But you do need to let some stuff go, and as we sit and talk about this, the more I'm communing with your energies out here, the more I'm like, yeah, this person, like, you know damn well that it will hurt, but only for a little while. It's taken me about a year to come back to myself again. And I had versions of myself as authentic as I could be, but I never got to do a linear run of this physical existence as myself. There's various unsafeties with being out in the world, and I've lost a lot of things along the way. Oh my gosh. I have had prayers unanswered. I have had my name just dragged through the mud to my face in various ways. I have been trained to assimilate to a society that, no matter how hard I tried, doesn't want me regardless. And as I am approaching a year for many milestones in my life, I get excited to see how much easier it is to not only move on, but move on in peace. Because yes, I'm disappointed, but it's not because I did anything. 44 as I say this. You disappointed me. You did not meet my expectations, the standard of love and care that I've set for myself. And if you can view it, if you can reframe it in the sense of, no, this person is disappointing, this job is disappointing, this method is disappointing, this format is disappointing, these relationships are disappointing, this behavior is disappointing. If you take yourself out of it completely and just look at it at face value, this entity, not me, that is disappointing, then you can look at that world and say, and I deserve better than disappointing. Not on some bitter shit either. Like, sometimes you just have to really legitimize the fact that you know damn well, if you were left to your own devices to do what you feel is best for you because of the person you know that you are, that you would have turned out fine already. You would be somewhere else. We can ruminate on this all day long. But the next step then is, okay, I know now. I know my new threshold. And I will be in spaces that are safe for me to be myself even more after I've learned this lesson in this journey and been in this journey. Because truly I'm getting two things, honestly. Like, I'm getting job and I'm getting like relationship in general. So like, somebody is done with their mom or their job. I'm really getting job, like you're about to crash out on a bus. But yeah, I'm mentioning as many as I'm gathering because there's just a lot of like that and that and that and that, and I'm like, yeah, and that. They asked one more. 47 as I say that, so I don't know why I needed to say that to you, but if I remember, I'll look it up. Top one? Yeah. Yep. Jumbi, shadow goddess of masks. It says Jumbis are the scary, shadowy, otherworldly spirits and monsters of the Caribbean. Where is the lie? Guidance. Get quiet to get clear. Put your hand on your heart. Now, are you confused or are you afraid? Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Embodiment, show your true face. Wearing a mask blocks your vulnerability and blessings. If you are wearing a mask, dare to reveal yourself. You are lying to others and to yourself. Wearing a mask is exhausting. Be you. If someone else is wearing a mask with you, you deserve clarity. Your relationship and connection is built on lies. Their mask is a projection of your own. Declaration, I am willing to remove the mask. I get why that came up, because this is what we're talking about ultimately, right? Like, I think that somewhere in there you may have come to terms with the fact that like this environment that's affecting you, you are the only one that can make a decision, no matter how terrifying or confusing it is, to put a stop to it. Like, trying to collaborate with whatever it is that you need to let go of is not working. You know it's not working. It's been not working, and you need to, you need to leave so confidently that you need to leave unbothered. The divine wants you so confident in this decision that you're going to make that you have nothing but peace in your next step. had to do a happy dance for you. That's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, no, and that's hard. Like, when you care, when you've dedicated so much of yourself to something, and you're led completely away from it, it can be scary. I'm not saying it's not scary. But you got this. And every day is an ascension because you're still here, right? My glasses are sweaty. And so your job is to integrate. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to integrate yourself. Your creativity, your boundaries, your perspective, your input, all valid. All versions of you, everything, very valid. And I believe that you know that it's time to do this. To do this thing that you're needing to do, this culling process. And I would just suggest that you remember who you are, no matter how dark it seems. Remember who you are. Remember your divine connection always, because what you have in, like, what the divine has in store for you, you know. That's what all this hard work was about, I guess. So heavy is the head that wears the crown, and you, Empress, have 12 stars upon thine head. And you, Hermit, you have a lot of reflective energy that you need to share with the world. And you can do all of that because you are balanced and temperate. The divine has done a work in you as promised. And treat yourself like you're part of a team. And remember that you got your own back, and that your intuition has led you in places where you know who is for you and who is not for you. You know what is for you and what is not for you. You feel it. You know it. So you don't have to worry. You can be confident the entire way through. Yep. Well, I'm really happy we did this. I'm really glad we hung out today. You be good bean, stay safe. I'm gonna get me a little bit of a snacky snack. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.